He seems to think that people have the wrong impression of him. He says he's not really all that bad. Miss Little Red Riding Hood, what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to your show. It's been an honor to be here today. Now about Mr. Wolf. I will never forget what happened that day when I went to see my poor old sick granny. I should have known better than to speak to strangers out in the wood, but Mr. Wolf pictures to be such a nice guy. I should have listened to my mom. Never speak to strangers.
May I say something? I don't understand why someone would send their precious little girl through the woods all alone.
Mr. Wolf, I have gone through the woods plenty of times before, but that still doesn't give you no right to deceive me and to eat my poor old granny. If it weren't for the woodcutter, I would have never seen my granny again. Shame on you.
That wasn't me. I'm maintaining my innocence. All I did is went there and jobbed the back of Hawes and left. And by the way, didn't that woodcutter kill that wolf? If it was me, I wouldn't be here.
Lies, lies, lies.
Well, we all know fairy tales can have many different endings. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Well, Mr. Wolf, you're right. Fairy tales can have many different endings. Let's hear from Mr. Pig. How do you feel about the big bad wolf?
Well, it's very hard to face him today. I'm still mourning the loss of my two brothers. Life just isn't the same without them. I just don't know why anyone can be so cruel.
Big bad wolf, would you like to say something?
Well, yes. I'm sorry if you feel that way. I was just trying to borrow a cup of sugar and I sneezed and both of their houses came down. Hey, it's not my fault they weren't as smart as you. They should have used bricks instead of...
Big bad wolf, you should be ashamed of yourself. Lies, lies, lies. I think you owe me and Mr. Pig an apology.
I agree. You can't go through life treating people wrong and thinking you can get away with it.
Well, I'm glad you all had the opportunity to catch up and express your feelings. I just have a few more questions before we move on and get ready for our next guest. My next question is for Little Red Riding Hood. Tell us all how your grandmother is doing these days.
Well, the incident with the wolf terrified her, but she's a little better now. My family decided that it would be best for her not to live alone. She's really getting up in age. She now lives in an assisted living community.
Well, I'm glad to hear she's better. So, Mr. Third Little Pig, what have you been up to since your traumatic experience?
Well, it was very hard for me to live in that community without my brothers. So I decided to sell my brick home and go into live with my elderly aunt and uncle. They can use the help, so I'm pretty happy there.
Well, it was great seeing all of you. Don't you guys think it was great seeing all of them? I'm glad we could all catch up. I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you for the invitations.
I'm glad I could come to defend my character. I know everybody believes me now.
Lies, lies, lies.
Our next guests come from the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel. For those of you who don't know, Hansel and Gretel were the young children of a poor woodcutter. When times got hard, their mean stepmom forced their dad to get rid of them because of the food scarcity. They were sent out into the forest all alone. Let's welcome Hansel, Gretel, and Hansel Sr. Welcome to the Fairy Tale Talk Show. Glad you guys could be with us today. Let's get right into it. So Hansel, tell us how you felt when you overheard your stepmom telling your dad that he should get rid of you and Gretel.
Well, of course I was hurt. I couldn't. Wait.
I wanted to be strong for Gretel. There was something about that mean old lady that I didn't like from the beginning. I wish my father never married that woman, to tell the truth.
Gretel, tell us how you felt when you heard your stepmom telling your dad that he should get rid of you and Hansel.
Well, I was sad and afraid. I feared for our lives, all alone out in the forest. I couldn't believe the things our stepmother said about us. She called us brats and demanded our father to get rid of us.
Tell us, Hansel, what were your feelings towards your dad at that time?
Well, I was angry. I couldn't understand why he would let our stepmother come between us. She is nothing like our mother. Our mother was scary.
Wow, I'm sorry you both had to go through this. Hansel, you were a very smart boy back then. You remembered to put the stones in your pocket to find your way back home. But I understand that they angered your stepmom and she forced your dad to put you guys out again.
Well, I wanted to do all that I could to help Gretel. I was afraid, but I knew I had to take care of my sister.
Wow, that's great. I'm sorry you both had to go through that. But I'm sure things were hard when you got back home, but I'm sure things were better now. I have some questions for your father. Hansel Sr., please tell us why you would do such a horrible thing to your children.
Well, I'm ashamed, and I really try to forget those difficult times and put them far behind me. I just don't know what got into me. She was nagging me.
Well, with all of her nagging, you should have put her out.
Hindsight is 20/20.
So, Hansel and Gretel, have you been able to forgive your father?
Yes, it took a lot of prayer, but I forgave them.
How about you, Hansel?
Yes, I tried not to hold it against him. I knew our stepmother forced him to do it.
How are things now?
Much better. I have my own construction company, and we build custom homes.
Wow, good for you. I'm sure there's plenty to eat now.
Yes, there is. The Lord has blessed us.
Have you remarried?
No way. 2 wives is enough. No one can compare to my first wife. She was the best wife and mother to my children. I miss my old Susie.
Well, I'm glad you all could come today. I wish you all the best.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Wow, what a happy ending and a story of forgiveness. Don't you just love it when God has blessed the family? Clap it up for that. Come on. I'm sure you guys have all heard of our next fairy tale. You know, the one where the little girl went into some bear's home uninvited and did some property damage. We have invited Goldilocks and the 3 bears to come be guests on our show. So without further ado, please welcome Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Welcome, welcome, welcome. After what happened between you guys, I'm sure you all never wanted to see each other again.
Wow, Abigail Gowson jumped out the window and broke her leg.
And how have you been, Goldilocks?
Very well, thank you.
Glad to hear that. So Goldilocks, take us back to the time where you went into some bear's home uninvited.
Well, I think the story was a little exaggerated. I was walking through the woods and all of a sudden I started hearing some really strange noises. So I was scared. When I saw the bear's home, I was looking for some help.
So what did you do when you got there?
Well, I started to knock on the door, but then I noticed the door slightly open, so I went in.
Did y'all hear that? She walked in. Help me out here. So she's trying to tell me is she decided to walk into a stranger's home. All right, just go ahead. What are you going to say?
Yes, we are making some strange things.
I'm gonna get back to you in a minute. I mean, Mr. Papa Bear, do you always leave that door unlocked?
Well, I don't know about that. I always try to secure the home. I don't think Goldilocks is telling the truth. I think she used a butter knife to break into our place.
I did not break in. One of you bears were smart enough to lock your own door.
Excuse me, young lady? Did you just say something about not being smart? No, not being smart is going to somebody's home uninvited. Especially the wholesome bears. You must not watch the Discovery Channel or Aeroplane. Now that was not very smart.
I beg your pardon? I went to private school.
You should know not to go into the privacy of someone's home, especially the home of some bears.
Oh, excuse me there, sir. No. As the man of the house, wouldn't you say it would be your responsibility to make sure the home is secure so people like Goldilocks don't walk in?
Well, yes, I agree. But this time, it was Mama Bear's fault. She went back in the house to get some precious baby bear. I told her you wouldn't be gone long. But no, you can't tell Mama Bear about her baby.
I guess you could say Baby Bear is not so much of a baby anymore.
No, but you always say my baby.
All right, Mom Bear, tell me this. You know you're my favorite. I follow you to the... You didn't. Did you really leave the door unlocked? I guess y'all can debate at home about who left the door open, but there's some other things I am very curious about. My next question is for Baby Bear. Don't she look cute, y'all? Come on, clap it up for Baby Bear. Baby Bear, how did you feel when you saw that your chair was broken?
I was so sad. That was my favorite chair. It was the best ever.
Did that chair ever get fixed?
Yes, Papa fixed it, but I didn't want it anymore. I don't like broken.
Baby Bear, when I fixed that chair, it was good as new.
Yes, but it just wasn't the same anymore. Our baby bear deserves the best.
You see that? When I fixed the chair, it wasn't good enough. So guess what she did?
She brought a new one!
Yep, that's right. Spending our hard-earned money on stuff we don't need.
Yep, sure did.
Let's ask Goldilocks here a question. How did you feel when you found out that you broke Baby Bear's chair?
I don't think it's totally my fault. I think the chair is loose. I mean, look at me. Does it really look like I could have broken a chair? Even back then, I was cute and petite.
That sounds perfectly fine. And you destroyed some of our properties, and you should own up to your actions.
I still say Baby Bear didn't need a new chair. But anyway, let's move on.
Papa Bear, stop being so grumpy. I still want your ears to big point now.
Let's move on. So Goldilocks. So Goldilocks, do you know about the dangers of going into someone's home without permission?
Like I said, I heard a frightening noise in the woods. I was looking for safety.
I don't call eating Baby Bear's porridge and sleeping in Baby Bear's bed safety. I think that was a crazy move.
You say crazy, I say safety. But oh well, it's okay to disagree.
Wow, Goldilocks. I don't know if y'all seen this, but I've seen you catch on to the fact that Goldilocks, after all these years, you done paid her and everything, she can't even, she's not even owning up to her actions right now.
Not really. I just don't do well with false accusations.
I really think you owe these bears an apology.
I'm sorry if you feel that way. My whole life I have gotten good grades and was at top of my class.
Looks like you got book smarts and no common sense.
Yeah, Papa Bear, it's nice to be nice.
Well, we have to wrap up now because we have to get ready for some next guests. But Papa Bear, tell us what the family has been up to lately.
Well, since that bad experience, I had ADT come out and put an alarm system on the house. It's one of the best things I could ever done. We're still enjoying our home all home out in the woods.